Greetings people, today I'm playing more of Elixir's game, A Broad Semester. You can support Elixir on their Patreon. The options have really increased now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, not including the walk around and go out on your own options. I believe last time I spent time with Natalie, so I will go further down the list. And check out the Sleepy Owl. After meeting her, you find it hard to stop thinking about the red-haired vixen Natalie had apparently dated in the past. Waiting for the bus, drifting off in class, even dreaming brings that cocky smile to your mind. Eventually, you break down and decide to stop by the Sleepy Owl. If you figure you will have one drink, and if she happens to stop by, you'll talk to her. On a night when your workload is a little lighter than usual, you dress up in some nicer clothes and make the short walk to the campus center. The Sleepy Owl is in the basement, and it lives up to its name thanks to the dim lighting and soft music. It's one of the only spots on campus that can serve alcohol to students who are of age, and it's a common spot for local musicians to play open sets and get some exposure. All in all, it's a nice, inexpensive place to hang out with friends. As soon as you enter, you spot Belle. She is leaning casually on the bar, watching you walk in as though she knew you were coming, a small smile on her face. Well, nothing for it. You approach, noticing that she was wearing the same outfit as before.
Well, that didn't take very long, did it?
I only came by to ask you to please leave Natalie alone. She obviously does want to see you.
Oh, that's so sweet. No wonder she's looking so healthy these days.
Belle giggles, gesturing at the bartender, and 2 drinks are slid across the bar.
I wouldn't worry about her.
Her voice trails off, clearly wanting your name. Snide. And you're Belle, if I recall correctly?
Good memory. And yes, I wouldn't worry about Natalie. She's a big girl after all.
She laughs again, and the sound is disarming, despite your noble sentiments from earlier.
But I can promise you I won't be bothering with her again. I found someone much more interesting.
Her eyes flash over you, and while they are mostly some kind of dark brown, the light is doing that thing where they seem briefly red. Well, good, just don't bother her if she doesn't want to see you. You repeat your words a bit, feeling a hint of unease around Belle. You can't quite put your finger on why, though.
That's a new thing, you know, her not wanting to see me. There was a good while where she couldn't get enough of me. I'm sure you can see why. Although, I can see why she got distracted. You're pretty enticing yourself, Snide.
You blink a couple of times in almost disbelief. Is Belle really hitting on you when she knows perfectly well that you're with Natalie? Hold on, I don't think...
Think? Who needs to think? I never do.
She grins, showing perfectly white teeth and a ruby-lipped smile.
I saw how you looked at me in the parking lot. And just now, before you walked over. Right now you're thinking of how you're with Natalie, and wouldn't it just be terrible to go home with her ex? But you're feeling something entirely different, aren't you?
Now hold on. I didn't say anything like... Something about Belle is infectious. You can't look away from her.
Your face is saying more than your words ever could, but...
She shrugs and downs the rest of her drink in one gulp, licking the last drops off her lips.
Sometimes desire isn't equaled by the ambition necessary to attain it. So, are you going to join me in a drink, or are you going to walk out of the bar so you can go watch your professor grade papers?
Look, I want to do all the content in the game, so I'll have to choose the latter option. I guess. One drink couldn't hurt.
It really couldn't.
Belle smiles wider, if possible, and orders another drink to cheers you with.
So, Snide, how is this semester treating you so far? Any exciting trysts, other than the slightly overfed academic?
Natalie's not fat.
So defensive. I never said fat. Okay, I won't bring her up again. going back to my original question, what excites you, Snide? A new place, new people? College is an intriguing time, unless maybe you haven't discovered what excites you yet.
Belle's eyes glitter as she sips her drink. She leans forward a little, her prominent chest drawing your eye despite your efforts to the contrary. Plenty of things excite me. New places, new experiences. You shrug and give Belle a safe answer, sipping your own drink with a bit of reservation. I'm here for the same reasons as everyone else. Get an education and have some fun.
Well, I can see that you are the kind of person who is willing to take a risk to try something new. The only kind of person worth knowing, in my opinion.
She sidles a little closer to you, and you can smell something on her. Perfume, maybe, that is sweet, with a hint of spice. It almost feels akin to the burn from the alcohol in your drink.
But I think your priorities could use a little shuffling. Fun first, him.
One of her hands slides across the bar top, finding yours, and her fingernails trace a little pattern on your skin. I mean, that'd be great and all, but... You clear your throat and take a breath. I have obligations, you know.
Obligations surprisingly malleable in my experience.
Her voice has gotten huskier, not quite a whisper, but it still has the effect of raising the hairs on the back of your neck.
Someone feels obliged to their family. Someone else feels obliged to their job. Everyone feels obliged to something. And yet, I haven't met anyone who held on to those feelings after meeting me.
Belle's eyes again. Something in her gaze feels like it's reaching into the back of your mind. I can see how that could happen.
That's because you're such an insightful boy. And speaking of insight, can you guess what I'm about to do?
Do a magic trick? I'm not sure. I wouldn't know. You shake your head, completely unable to get a read on this woman in any way.
Or pretending like you're unaware, like you haven't been watching my lips this entire conversation. Adorable.
She leans even closer, her breath warm on your cheek. And before you can do more than inhale, her lips are on yours. After either a minute or an eternity, she breaks the kiss, snickering a little as you lean back, dazed.
Not bad, not bad. I was right that you have potential. And what of you, Snide? Verdict?
Something about the kiss was, for lack of a better word, transcendent. You can barely keep composed after your lips part, and suddenly nothing else is on your mind. Whoa. Belle chuckles a bit.
I forgot sometimes how articulate people can be. Well, maybe you can find your poetry while you walk me home.
Sure, I can do that. You can't help but smile as you follow Belle out of the Sleepy Owl and onto the walkway outside. Belle takes you by the hand, and you set about following after her brisk walk. She has a surprisingly firm grip, but you are distracted by... Then, something odd happens. Though you are familiar with the layout of campus and all the surrounding neighborhoods, it feels like you blink, and suddenly you are outside a small red brick house nestled between two other student dwellings. The lights are out, and there is a nice wooden door at the front.
Here we are. I don't mind some onlookers, but we'll have some real fun away from prying eyes.
Right? Wait, are you inviting me in? Your head buzzes a bit again, as if the walk over here was a complete blur.
Oh, you're cute. So new to everything. Yes, I'm inviting you in. I have the most delightfully soft bed you can imagine. Well...
She runs a finger down your cheek to your jaw, stepping closer.
And some hard surfaces too, if those are more your thing.
I do like fancy kitchen countertops. They can be interesting. Then something unexpected happens. She watches you for a moment, and then pats your cheek.
I think I have a good sense of you now, Snide. Take the night, clear your head a little, and then decide yourself in the morning if you'd like to see me again. It's more fun when you make the decision on your own, anyway.
As she goes inside, you feel a light fog in your head, and the remainder of the night is a blur. You've unlocked a new gallery image. Yeah, I need to collect them all. I should go do something. No sense wasting the day away. Of course. Well, I'm not sure if this game is a mechanic of locking you out of, certain side plots due to your progress in other ones, but I guess it's not a... It doesn't seem like it's a true RPG, so maybe it will let me 100% them all without having to go back. So the next option is, of course, Taryn. For a decent while after getting acquainted with Taryn, you don't run into her around campus at all. You feel a bit of regret for not just asking for her phone number, but you also had that vibe about her that leads you to believe she wasn't just going to give it out. Still, you do catch yourself glancing around as you walk through campus between classes and during your free time, wondering if you might see her out of your periphery. You're standing in line for lunch one day when you hear a voice behind you, and feel a tap on your shoulder.
Hey, stranger. I was wondering if we'd cross paths again. You haven't been hiding from me, have you?
Of course not, but this campus is a pretty big place to find just one person. I totally was, actually. Apparently not very well, though. I mean, the second one seems more amusing, an answer.
Clearly, you wouldn't last 10 minutes in a horror movie.
Give me a little credit. I like to think I'd make it at least 15.
Well, maybe we can call it 12.5 then.
So, how have you been? Grabbing a quick bite in between classes?
Yeah, I overslept, so I'm freaking starving. Luckily, I've got a good while before my next lecture, so I can take my time and refuel.
I get that. It sucks having to rush to eat during the day. Then you don't get to digest and end up feeling like crap.
Totally. If I've got a stomachache, I can't pay attention with crap in class.
The line proceeds forward, and you and Taryn grab trays and begin taking your lunch. Grab a small portion. Grab an average portion. Grab a large portion. Well, my weight meter's completely at the bottom right now, so I might as well go with a large portion. You serve yourself a large portion, even overtaking the amount of food Taryn's grabbed for herself.
Damn, you must be hungrier than I am.
I'm not usually such a big eater, but I'm just in the mood for something a bit more filling today.
Hey, I'm not judging or anything, just didn't think you had it in you.
Taryn teases you a bit and chuckles as she finishes serving her own lunch. You both check out with your meals and go grab an empty table to enjoy your meals. Making some idle chit-chat, you notice Taryn is very relaxed as she tucks into her burger and washes down each bite with some soda. A couple of very thin girls walk by in t-shirts with Greek letters on them and shoot a sideways look of disgust towards Taryn. Taryn responds by looking straight at them and taking a big bite of her burger, overemphasizing how much she's enjoying it with a smug smirk. Wow, do you have like a target on your forehead that all sorority sisters have it out for you?
I might have made some less than flattering posters last year and posted them up in front of all the sorority houses.
What kind of posters?
A more raw spin on their recruitment flyers, calling them out for their crappy practices and unhealthy standards.
Okay, so that explains why they all seem to have it out for you, but why do you think so little of them? I mean, besides the obvious reasons. Taryn pauses a bit and sighs after she swallows another bite.
My older sister came here a couple of years before I did. She rushed as a freshman and got into one of the houses pretty quick. A couple of months go by, and like plenty of other girls, she gained the freshman 15. It was barely even noticeable, but the upperclassmen in her sorority pressured her relentlessly to lose it, for the sake of their image and reputation or some crap. She went to the gym, she tried to cut back at the dining hall, but the women in my family aren't known for our stellar metabolisms. We tend to fall in the painfully average category. So she couldn't lose the weight fast enough, and the stress started to get to her. Eventually she was so upset by all the comments that she stopped going to classes and gained another 10 pounds from stress eating alone.
Holy crap.
It's normal for hazing to go on in all sorority and frat houses, but they made her feel like complete crap daily. Eventually, she just stopped eating altogether and ended up in the hospital. My parents had to take her out of school, and she had to transfer somewhere closer to home.
Oh, flip. I'm so sorry to hear that.
She's doing better now, but it all stemmed from a bunch of stupid girls who thought that my sister was less than because she wanted to just enjoy herself a little. So yeah, that's why I put up those posters, and that's why I think sororities are flipping stupid.
You both sit for a few moments in silence as Taryn's words resonate. Well, I completely understand why you feel the way you do. I think anyone in your position would.
Thanks, Snide. I appreciate that. I just wonder if there's more I could be doing. I know there are still other girls around here who are probably going through something just like my sister.
You could always try to drum up more public support against the harmful practices that your sister had to endure. It does suck. It's just such a widespread mindset, I think. Well, you need to be active, I suppose. I'll try the first one. Taryn raises an eyebrow and looks up at you.
What do you mean?
Well, think about it. You said yourself that this has to still be happening, and even outside of Greek life, girls are being pressured to make unhealthy choices just to fit in. So, you could be a kind of voice for them to feel like they can just be themselves, whatever that ends up looking like.
You know, you might just have a point there.
I have my moments.
Oh, think about it, Snide. Maybe there's something to this idea, creating a safe space for girls to feel comfortable in their own skin, and for people to speak up.
Sounds like a winning idea already. Taryn smiles and looks back at the rest of her food, then smirks to you and picks it up with a nod. New gallery emerge, yeah. I should go do something. No sense wasting the day away. Well, last time it was Taryn, now I'll walk around campus. Maybe there'll be something around. It's a lot easier to manage the stress of school now that you have more dates with Natalie on the horizon. You travel between classes with a spring in your step, wondering if it's too soon to text her again. As you take out your phone, fingers poised on the keyboard, you see an email from one of your professors about a change to the course timeline. Reading it, you don't really pay attention to where you're going, or who is in front of you. Not another bumping into someone incident.
Need to verify the truth of the matter before doing anything else. Is it true? Of course not. That would be entirely unprofessional and far too distracting from my work. Well, that's a relief. I will tell this person that rumors can be dangerous, and should not be spread so lightly. They just have mistaken you for someone else in that restaurant.
Your ears prick up, hearing Natalie's voice. The other professor's words make your stomach clench. Did you almost get her in trouble? There shouldn't be any rule against you dating. You aren't even a student.
Surely, I don't exactly have the time to be out at all hours of the night during the semester, especially on a weekday. I believe that, given how much you've written for your latest chapter. Anyway, thank you for being honest with me, Natalie.
The professor nods and heads down a side path, leaving Natalie to walk by herself. What, they don't get a name? I'm not going to be able to hang out with them later? You're not sure if you should go talk to her, considering the rumors that are apparently circulating, so you keep your distance. Natalie sighs and rubs her forehead as the other professor leaves. She's clearly got a lot on her mind right now. Despite your urge to walk up to her and try to alleviate some of her stress, you worry that you might just make things worse with such unfortunate timing. I should go do something. No sense wasting the day away. Indeed, well, that was a short, but time to go out on our own. You walk around for a little while and enjoy the fresh air, but it doesn't seem like much is going on at the moment. No. Okay. Well, dining hall time, I suppose. You're feeling a little peckish, so you take a quick detour to the dining hall. Yeah, I could go for a bite. After waiting in line, you grab something from the buffet and take a seat to enjoy your meal. Your hunger sated, you clean up your things and head back home. After a quick shuttle ride, you arrive back at your apartment. I should go do something. No sense wasting the day away. Well, do not waste it. Go spend time with Donna. After your first amazing date, the rest came easy. It felt that at any time of the day or evening, you could text Donna about some inconsequential thing, and she would reply with a funny comment or a piece of advice. She did the same to you, and the little buzz of her ringtone started to trigger a swooping in your stomach, knowing that her name would be on your phone's display. You tried to vary your date ideas somewhat, and Donna supplied plenty of her own. There was the shopping trip you both took downtown, a stop in at the antique movie theater, and using your student discount to check out the nearby museum. They've really got those paintings jam-packed on the wall there. Even just chilling at home was enjoyable when you had Donna over. One day, Donna texts you just as you were exiting your morning class.
Hey, hot stuff. I was thinking of switching up the workouts this week. Wanna come do some hot yoga with me? You'll fit right in.
Donna's flirtatiousness was always a surefire way to bring a quick smile to your face. Sounds like a fun time, though I can't promise I'll be any good. I think I might be pretty distracted.
Lol. Okay. Session starts in an hour. See you there.
That gives you plenty of time to dig out some gym shorts and a t-shirt, get cleaned up, and leisurely make your way to the gym. When you get to the fitness center, Donna is already there, grinning as you round the corner after exiting the locker room. Dressed in a tank top and leggings, Donna has clearly made some strides for her health since your first date. She looks leaner, much more comfortable in her clothing, and while there's still a hint of roundness in her tummy and thickness in her thighs, she's radiating that athlete energy you noticed when you first met. She walks forward and gives you a kiss on the cheek.
Hey, sweetie. Ready to show these people how flexible we are?
Still, you immediately jump at the chance to make a joke at how she phrased her question. The setup was simply too good. I don't think this is the time or the place for that kind of thing, babe. People might get jealous.
In all seriousness, supposedly it is really super hot in there, so let me know if you don't feel well, okay? We can take a break.
I'm sure I can handle it. Just gotta remember to drink plenty of water, right? Donna nods, and you follow her into the studio. Instantly, the temperature ratchets up by several degrees in the dim space. There are several people already present, doing starting stretches, but you and Donna easily find a place to one side. Donna leans over to whisper to you. She giggles and sets up her mat, just in time for the instructor to move to the front of the room. The instructor speaks up shortly after.
Welcome, everyone. First, as always, please get to know your own body in this space. Do a modified version of the pose if necessary, and pause for a water break whenever you need. Let's start with a child's pose.
Donna immediately bends over, placing her head on the mat. Truthfully, you have found it very impressive how Donna is committed to working out more, even with her busy schedule. The results are obvious. Donna's energy had also seen a serious upswing. She is a lot more stammered than she did just a few weeks ago, and her overall mood has really improved as well. It was clear her weight was really starting to bother her, and while you never particularly minded it, seeing her act more like her old self again is definitely refreshing.
Alright, great everyone. Let's move to a downward facing dog. Really feel it in your lower back and hips.
You oblige, and see Donna do the same. The heat is almost overwhelming, and your body is already coated with sweat. You look up and happen to make contact with your girlfriend, whose face is red from the heat in an upside-down position. She smirks and blows you a kiss. Hopefully she doesn't lose her balance while she's doing that. You blush and smile at the show of affection, but your face is already red from the heat, so it's not overtly noticeable. The instructor continues to guide you through poses, and, true to its reputation, the hot studio makes even basic movements more tiring. At the same time, you can feel all your muscles relaxing and becoming easier to flex. After about half an hour, whilst in the middle of the warrior pose, you notice that Donna is shaking a little bit of one foot, her eyelids lowered. Psst, babe, you good?
Well, yeah, I'm good. Just feeling the heat a little bit.
Donna's response is slightly off, and she seems to be wavering on the spot. You need to take a break? When's the last time you drank some water? You were so focused on taking care of yourself during the class that you hadn't really paid much attention to Donna outside of sneaking glances. Want me to give you a hand? Come on, let's take a little break, okay? Well, seems she's about to suffer heat stroke, so break sounds good.
Alright. If you need a break too, then I'll join ya.
She wobbles to a standing position, and you can see bright spots of colour high in her cheeks. She takes her water bottle and follows you out of the room, both of you taking care not to disturb any of the other people. Once outside, you take your seats on a bench, and Donna takes a long pull from her water bottle.
You doing okay, Snide?
Yeah, just wanted to get a quick breather. It really is hot in there.
Yeesh, no kidding. I thought I would last longer too, but I was shaking a bit at the end there.
She sighs and takes another sip of water.
The old me would have been able to do 2 hours in there, no matter how high the temperature was. We once played a full volleyball tournament in Florida, and it was ungodly hot the whole time.
You'll get there again. Just give it time. You're not doing yourself any favors going too hard too quickly, you know.
Yeah, I guess I was just a little too hyped about being able to fit into these pants again.
She chuckles a little, giving her belly a pat.
Still, it feels really good having a regular physical routine again. I appreciate how much you encouraged me to get back on the horse after I got hit with the freshman 25.
I'm happy you're happy, and I'm seriously proud of how much work you've put in. I know you'll hit your goal in no time. Donna smiles and leans to one side. You're both still hot and damp, but you wouldn't end this. Want to go back in and finish out the class? Maybe with a few more water breaks built in.
See, that is the kind of encouragement I'm talking about. Yeah, let's go kick some bottom.
She stands, takes your hand and pulls you up off the bench, giving you a nice long kiss before leading you back inside to finish the class. After washing up in the showers and heading out of the gym, Donna heads back to her dorm to get ready for her evening class later. You smile and kiss her goodbye, before taking the shuttle back to your apartment to relax for the remainder of the day. New gallery image. I should go do something. No sense wasting the day away. Well, I guess I wasn't eating enough food, or I should have suggested the meal. Now it's... I guess this does have a weight loss mechanic for everyone. Time to spend time with Natalie. It isn't long before going to Natalie's office hours becomes a regular occurrence, and none of them happen during the school day. It also hasn't even been that long since your dinner date either, and you learned that Natalie's apparently voracious appetite doesn't just apply to food. You quickly memorize the bus route to get to her apartment, and she always manages to find a good parking spot near your place. It all feels like a heady dream, and you definitely do not want to wake up if that's the case. One morning, daylight streaming into Natalie's bedroom. You open your eyes to find her rummaging in her closet. You yawn and rub the sleep from your eyes before rolling over to speak to her. Morning, Nat. Do you want some breakfast? I think you enjoyed my French toast last time.
Oh, French toast sounds amazing.
Natalie replies enthusiastically from within her walk-in closet.
You've been so good to me lately. I'd hate to think you could possibly have an ulterior motive.
Her hair is messy, but still falls to her shoulders in an entrancing way, and her top is hugging her curvy figure closely. Okay, maybe you've been a bit generous with her portions. Me? Motive? I just needed to say thank you for all these extra office hours you're giving me.
Well, I think the extra tutoring has been serving you well.
Are you looking for a particularly thick text for me to read? Maybe some primary documents to analyze? Amidst your late-night study sessions, you and Natalie manage to find a day that works for both of you to have a nice picnic on campus. You take the time to fill a small cooler with sandwiches, cut up fruits, and a few pastries from the local bakery as well. After arriving early, you spread out your blanket on the grass and grab a seat, looking forward to seeing Natalie. I've never been to a picnic where they've got this many pillows, or any for that matter. Right on time, you look up from your phone to see her head over. Your mouth falls open. Natalie is walking towards you and there's no other way to describe it. Her gut is hanging out, pushing over the waistband of her pants and making her shirt right up. Hey, you want some lunch? The cheeky line you had ready is completely vanished.
Well, of course I do. Can't you tell I'm practically starving?
You fumble a reply as she strides over and lowers herself down to the blanket with a grunt. To fill the silence, you open the cooler and get out a sandwich. Glad I made extra then.
You think ahead. That's one of the many things I appreciate about you.
Natalie leans to the side and smiles at you as she takes her food. You smile back, though it's hard not to be distracted by the pudgy belly now sitting in Natalie's lap. You've noticed her gaining for a while, but she's always dressed to disguise it, not emphasize it, at least in public. You can't imagine her walking across campus like this. I'm glad the weather was so warm for us to do this today.
Me too. I'd say it's a nice change of pace lately, but I'm just always so hot lately anyway.
You know, I did pack some sodas, if you're overheating over there.
That sounds refreshing. Pass me one.
You reach into the cooler to dig one out, glad that it has stayed quite chilled inside. I should go do something. No sense wasting the day away. Well, I guess it's time to go down to the Bell option. You never quite figured out exactly what went on when you had your impromptu conversation with Belle at the Sleepy Owl. Your whole head felt a little hazy ever since you sat down with her, and you barely even remember getting home that night. When your phone buzzes one morning the following week, you're surprised to see Belle's name at the top of your text messages. You don't even remember adding her as a contact.
Hey there, stranger. I certainly enjoyed getting to know you a bit last week. Do you have any time today to help me with something? All academic, of course.
Wait, how did you even get my number?
You gave it to me, remember? Lol, so unimportant details aside, you free?
I don't have class until this afternoon, so yeah, sure. Just cleaning up a bit at home while I've got some time.
Oh, I like a man who takes care of his space. Meet me at the library whenever you're done.
Okay, just give me like half an hour and I'll head over. You put your phone down and glance at the few dishes still soaking in the sink from last night, and think about the last of the laundry you have to put away. While you finish tidying up, you wonder just what it is that Belle's after. Is she really just being friendly, or is there something else at play? You head to the library and find Belle waiting for you just inside the entrance. She's wearing a red dress that seems a little on the thin side, given the weather. but you can't deny that it suits her.
Punctual, too. You continue to impress Snide.
Thanks, I guess. So, what was it you needed help with? And why ask me of all people?
Well, I'm of the opinion that you know within a few minutes of talking to someone how smart they are.
She pauses and smirks at you.
And I happen to know someone studying engineering. Shall we?
Without providing more information, she gestures towards the rows of shelves further in. When did you tell her your major? How much did you drink at the Sleepy Owl? Seems it was way too much. Alright, hope I can be of assistance. You shrug and follow her, your curiosity piqued due to the vagueness of the answers she's been giving. She takes a turn down a row of reference books and begins perusing the various publications.
So, as you know, my area of interest is film, but due to the nature of the subject, there are a lot of intersections with other disciplines.
Her voice sounds close in your ears, though no one around is shushing her. She sends you one of her disarming smiles, displaying those perfect teeth. Just on the general subject matter, why not just grab a textbook or look it up on Wikipedia?
But don't we all like a chance to show our passion for our favourite subjects?
A small pout tugs at her full red lips.
Anyway, I'm hoping for reliable, uncommon sources. A textbook or Wikipedia will have bog-standard stuff at best, and misleading information at worst. But I suppose, if yours is more of a passing interest, then...
It's fine. I'll give you a hand. If you're looking for something deeper than just surface-level stuff, you'll want to check out something over here. You lead Belle to the next row over, and a couple of shelves down. Here, this is full of great ideas presented in digestible and cohesive ways.
That looks like exactly what I need. Thank you. I do not want to ask too much, but...
She looks down, seemingly bashful.
Is there any chance we could go through the first chapter? Just skimming it. I would want to figure out any difficulties I might run into instead of bugging you later over text.
When she looks back up again, smiling, her eyes seem to glitter under the dim overhead lighting. Sure, yeah, we can look it over a bit if you want. She beams, looking genuinely delighted, and leads you over to one of the larger study tables. There is only one other student there, a pretty dark-haired girl who has a chemistry book and a take-out container in front of her. You're not quite sure if eating is even allowed in this part of the library, but it's clear that this girl doesn't care either way. You can't help but notice that her top doesn't quite cover her stomach due to a pooch belly that is all too common amongst new students. As you sit down, Belle places the book on the table.
Daydreaming, Snide.
Sorry. Just zoned out a bit. You shake your head and turn your attention back to Belle as she sits down beside you and smirks. Ready to get into it?
Of course. I'm so grateful for the help. You have no idea.
She smiles and turns to the first page after the table of contents, carefully perusing with her finger. As she does, a noise briefly distracts you. The girl is bringing a fork full of noodles into her mouth and eating them noisily. Focus on reading the bow. Check out the other girl. Well, that's illegal in the library. We need to enforce the rules. It's more than a little distracting, and you find your gaze drifting towards the girl. She seems significantly more engrossed in her food than her homework, and the noodles slip from her fork into her lips in a near constant stream. No wonder her jeans look so snug. She loves to eat. That much is obvious. When the girl finally takes a break from eating, she leans back in her chair, rubbing her belly and moaning softly.
It's rude to stare, you know.
Her words are whispered, tickling your ear, and you start a little. I wasn't staring. I wasn't looking at anyone. You clear your throat and shake your head, but the blush on your cheek contradicts your defense.
Of course. Just spacing out a little, maybe. Wondering if she's always had that tummy.
Belle giggles, and before you can respond, she redirects you to the book.
This is actually proving very useful. Have you ever thought about tutoring?
Not really. I don't think I really have the patience for anything like that long term.
Shame. I'm sure the students would be lining up for a session with you, so I think I get this concept, but the term they're using is utterly foreign to me. Can you break it down for me?
As you look at the term in question, you are ready to explain it when the slurping sound reaches your ears again. The girl isn't even pretending to read her book, instead focusing wholly on the takeout container. And it must be your imagination. Her belly looks bigger, as if she'd devoured a whole other container while you weren't looking. She keeps eating, leaning farther back in her chair until, to your surprise, the button on her jeans pops open.
Crap, that's the third pair this month. Some people have no shame. Wouldn't you agree, Snide?
At this point, you can't help but stare a little. The display at the nearby table practically commands attention. Yeah, no shame, right.
I mean, we're trying to work here. She is to know how she looks, don't you think? Imagine going out in public with a gut like that and just gorging yourself. Honestly.
Belle is watching her responses carefully, a small smile twitching her lips. You really should be a little quieter. I mean, what if she hears you insulting her?
She's too enraptured by that greasy takeout. Look at her. She's still finishing it even though she just popped a button. Besides, I didn't hear you disagree.
She grins and leans over to lightly elbow you. I'm not, that's...
Sorry, I can be a bit catty, I know. Well, this was very illuminating for me. I really appreciate your time. Oh, I know. Let me buy you dinner sometime to say thank you. No romantic overtures, I promise.
Belle's sudden invitation catches you a bit off guard, as you're still a little flustered from what you just witnessed. That's really not necessary.
Necessary? Hardly. Delicious? Absolutely. I'm devilishly good at finding the best spots to eat when I want to.
She leans her cheek on one hand, looking at you with big eyes.
Please, otherwise I'll be indebted to you for the whole semester.
You sigh. It's quite clear that Belle isn't going to let this go. All right, one thank you dinner.
Perfect. This Friday night, at Bracken. I'll text you the address.
She winks and grabs the book before heading off, leaving you alone at the table with the other girl. Incredibly, she is finishing a chocolate bar out of her backpack and unwrapping it eagerly, even though her belly is jiggling freely on her lap at this point. Head back and get ready for your afternoon class. Stay behind for a little while. Well, if this is going to unlock a new character, I must do it. As much as you denied it to Belle, you did find the girl at the table incredibly compelling to watch. You dawdle a little, pretending to check your phone, and, sure enough, the girl keeps chomping away at her chocolate bar, making the kind of face one usually associates with other, more private activities. It feels a little intrusive, but you can't muster the conviction to leave. Eventually, she sets the chocolate bar down, which seems oddly untouched, given how much she was biting into it. She picks up the takeout container and resumes eating, even though you could have sworn she reached the end of the box. After a while, it feels creepy to just sit here and watch her gorge herself, though you feel it an incredibly odd place for someone to do such a thing in the first place, and you get up to head to class. A loud burp follows you out of the library from where the girl is sitting. I should go do something. No sense wasting the day away. Well, I guess next it's Taryn then. Having finally exchanged contact info with Taryn, the two of you end up chatting pretty frequently in your spare time. On more than one occasion, you continue to brainstorm the idea of creating a kind of outreach group or getting administrative attention regarding how girls on campus are being treated because of their bodies. The more you both talked about it, the more Taryn started to get behind the plan to get the university to enact a policy to get more oversight on how sororities are selecting their pledges.
Like, it's not as if they're a sports team and getting in is based on athletic ability. That kind of thing I totally get.
What nice decor in this room.
This is entirely about how the girls running these houses feel subjectively about people's looks.
Hey, you're preaching to the choir here. Trust me.
I don't really care about making it easier for girls to get into sororities, but they happen to be the most high-profile instances of harmful body shaming on campus.
Makes sense. Every successful movement needs a kind of poster child issue. Taryn sighs and nods.
Yeah, definitely.
You okay? Seems like something's bothering you.
I'm fine. Just didn't realize how much work this all would be. I mean, I can't just go around campus asking fat girls if some prissy skinny fool ever made her feel like crap.
Yeah, that's probably not the best route to go about getting people to speak up on your behalf. Taryn nods again and grabs a couple of potato chips and eats them.
The closest I got was passing by the Greek houses, and I saw a couple of freshman girls working out of one crying. When I asked them what happened, they basically said they were told to try again next semester after more time in the gym.
Sounds like that's exactly the kind of evidence you need. So did they say they'd help out? Taryn shakes her head, scoffing and taking some more chips.
No, they said something about how I couldn't possibly be for real because I'm not chubby. Said it sounded like I had a savior complex.
You raise your eyebrows a bit in surprise, and take a quick look at Taryn. Of course, her large bust and curvaceous hips give her a very distinct hourglass figure, but it does seem as if she's been softening up all over as of late. So they didn't feel like you represented them because of your weight.
Ironic, I know. I mean, I don't even think I'm that skinny either. Clearly I take after my sister and have our mother's appetite.
Taryn jokes and leans back a little, and you can see her stomach pooch out a bit as she adjusts her posture.
I figured since I wasn't a size 00 and didn't dress like a sorority girl, people would listen to me, but I guess that's not enough for them to take me seriously.
So then what's the plan? Find someone to be your figurehead instead?
That'd be way too much work. Plus, I'd rather just handle it all myself for the most part.
So is this plot about her strategically becoming fat?
Nah, I figure if I put on a little weight myself and show off some real confidence, I'll pick up more traction.
Are you serious?
Why not? I mean, I'm well on my way to my own freshman 15 already.
Taryn pats her untoned middle. Well, that's definitely one way to go about it.
Oh, relax. It's not like I give that much of a crap about my diet anyway. I just go overboard for a bit to speed things up, and then people will see that I'm legit.
Could be fun, too, in a way.
Exactly. I'll just have to be a bit more mindful of my budget. Efficiency is going to be a big part of making sure I don't blow all my debit. So, are you in?
Me? Like, do I think this is a good idea?
Yeah. I mean, do you think this will actually work? And hopefully stop any more girls from ending up with eating disorders?
As long as you find a way to do this while staying healthy, I don't see any problem. Of course, you also have to be 100% sure this is what you want to do.
I don't mind at all, as long as we're smart about it.
Then I guess, yeah, I'll help however I can.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Snide.
Taryn smiles and leans forward, wrapping her arms around you in a hug.
Oh, sorry. Got a little excited there.
She chuckles nervously and seems to be blushing a bit. I think that might be the first time I've seen you really smile like that.
Oh, shut up. And go get me more chips. I finished this bag already.
For the next couple of weeks, Taryn seems to alternate between simply not caring about what or how much she's eating, and rampant, voracious gluttony. Taryn's ambitious diet plan means she hasn't had as much free time to spend with you casually recently, but you do keep in touch via text just as consistently. She clearly still wants to hang out, but she has quite a few extra early nights courtesy of a food coma now that she's glutting herself on the regular. Something else you didn't quite expect was how much amusement she's been getting out of stuffing herself silly. It's not infrequently that you'll open up your phone to a new message from her with a photo of her belly round and taut as if she were pregnant. Clearly she's taking this seriously without a doubt. After a while, she invites you over to hang out and see her progress in person.
Can you believe I've already put on another 12 pounds?
No, it isn't that noticeable.
I mean, I'd gotten thicker already, but now the weight's really coming on.
Darren definitely looks bigger. As do you. What? But you're still getting used to her attitude about it. Well, it isn't like you haven't been eating for 2 or 3.
Good call, suggesting I lean on the buffet line more often. The food's not the greatest there, but you can't argue with the value.
Taryn nods and places a hand on her stomach, which is certainly looking rounder, but the real standout stars are her bust and hips. Her hourglass figure hasn't so much changed shape, rather it's simply swelled outward all over. Honestly, it's the best way I can think of to keep this up without burning through all of your money in a week.
Well, I think I'm really on the right track. A little more of this, and people will definitely see I mean business.
I should go do something. No sense wasting the day away. What a great phrase to live by. Do I go actually... I guess I can try the campus and go out on your own options. Things seem to be going well with Natalie, and you figure it never hurts to be prepared with some protection. What, like a bodyguard? You walk around for a little while and enjoy the fresh air, but it doesn't seem like much is going on at the moment. Well, walk around a little more. See if yep. Turn back and head home. Oh well. I just wasted all that time. You figure it's been a little while since you fired up the old gaming PC, so you sit down at your desk and start scrolling through your Steam library. Nothing jumps out, but you have a vague memory of some kind of free-to-play thing the Shire Comp Sci Department has been experimenting with for their term projects. It likely isn't great, but if it did become super popular, you could say you were there when it started. Plus, not much better to do. Within 20 minutes, you've downloaded the modest install file and made a character. It's generic fantasy at its finest, but at least it put some polish into the assets. Once you have the mage, you set out into the world. The landscape is bare, and there aren't too many other players. Still, you enjoy the peaceful music and start completing some of the tutorial quests. It feels cool that the people coding all of this could be any one of the students you pass on your way across campus. You're about to log off for the night when you spot a dark-haired female character a short ways off. She is rotating slowly in a circle, her slim, armored form occasionally spinning backwards before resuming her circling again. What is it, someone botting? It's a little strange, but maybe she's just AFK. You type in the local server chat, wondering why she's just spinning around. I don't know if dizziness is a status ailment in this game, but if it is, I get the feeling you'll be the first to know. The character stops briefly, and a message flashes up in the chat.
Lol, probs, but I'm gonna find the game-breaking crap before anyone else too.
Sardonic Chicken 34. Well, if you find any infinite item or XP glitches, let me know. She stops spinning and approaches your character.
And unbalanced this economy the kids over in Smith Hall are trying so hard to create. Do I look like a monster?
You look like an elf, but you could be using a disguise. Kidding, but maybe we try not to destroy the game's mechanics just yet. There's a pause during which she just stares at you, and you wonder if she's annoyed. Then her character does an exaggerated, over-the-top laughing emote.
Lol, sorry. The emote menu needs some serious work. So do you have a goal you've given yourself in this little fantasy?
Not really. So far I'm still trying to get the hang of the mechanics and the menus.
Fair. I have to hand it to them. The assets in this game are pretty good. Like you can almost not tell where the grass texture repeats.
Oh wow, I didn't even look at that. I guess you know a lot about games like this then.
Probably too much. What about you? More of a casual gamer, I guess.
Yeah, every now and then for the most part, when I have downtime. I've played a lot of the classics though, but I wouldn't say I'm a hardcore gamer or anything.
Sounds like a healthy approach. I get way too wrapped up. Up if it's like an actual game and not some live service BS.
As long as you don't miss your classes, how bad could it be?
Believe me, I've been tempted. So, how long have you been here? Shire, I mean, not this grassy plateau.
I'm a third-year transfer, so this is my first year on campus, actually. She starts aimlessly walking, and you keep pace. Intermittently, she crouches down or jumps in the air, seemingly at random.
Nice. I'm in my last year. Assuming the next Zelda gets delayed and I can pass my classes. How are you finding it here?
So far, so good. The campus is really nice, to be honest. Met some cool people, too.
I should probably do that at some point. Too easy to just stay inside where you can just blast someone with a spell if they're being annoying.
You have your character perform a laugh mode. Yeah, shame you can't do that IRL. Yeah, Flip, if only you could laugh in real life.
Lots of things would be better if we could use game logic, like...
She stops, and her character makes a series of arcane hand gestures. A blue light shines off of her for a second.
There, I just learned a new spell. Wish I could do that for 18th century trade routes.
If only it were that easy. Just pick up a book or something and instantly understand it all.
Sadly, not a thing. At least not yet. I guess I should log off and do some reading tonight. Though Dr. Birch doesn't make it easy. Anyways, nice meeting you, sort of.
She logs off, just as you notice that she mentioned a professor you also have. Maybe Sardonic Chicken 34 is in one of your classes. Although it's not as though each professor doesn't have several sections of several classes each semester. You play a little bit longer and you complete a few more beginner level quests, then log off for the night to get some homework done as well. For a few days, you more or less forget about the girl, setting about your daily routine. However, when you next pop into your history class, you nearly do a double take as you pass the back row. There, wearing a hoodie, is someone who looks strikingly similar to Sardonic Chicken 34. She has similar facial features and a colourful tint to her dark hair that matches the avatar exactly. However, she doesn't exactly have a warrior physique. Slumped in her chair, typing on a powerful-looking laptop, she is certainly more average in her proportions. Maybe even a little on the chubby side. Unable to ignore your curiosity, you take the empty seat next to her. As if to confirm your suspicion, she is playing what looks like an emulated N64 game on her laptop. That's not legal. What are Nintendo going to do about this? No, that would be too much of a coincidence, right? You take out your laptop and get ready to take notes during the lecture, but your curiosity gets the better of you and you speak up. Man, sometimes I wish I could just absorb this textbook into my brain and instantly understand it all. You chuckle inside yourself as you smile a bit to the girl next to you. She starts in her chair, seemingly not expecting you to strike up a conversation. When she registers what you said, she raises an eyebrow.
You're telling me. I wouldn't mind blasting people who annoy me in class either.
She's smiling, though.
I guess I made my character a little too accurate.
No harm in a little self-insert fun in an RPG, right? I'm Snide. Nice to meet you. Again. She looks around, a little unsure, but seems reassured by your smile.
I may have crazy odds on us having class together, huh?
Yeah, a little. But it's kind of cool at the same time, you know.
Yeah, I suppose it is. How are you doing with this?
She gestures towards the front of the hall where the professor is setting up his slides.
Ready for the test on Friday?
Would you believe I feel more ready for the dungeon raid even though I just barely got out of the tutorial area? Maeve smirks at this, exiting out of her emulation and opening up a Google Doc.
Unfortunately, grinding this material is just as dull as farming enemies online. You up for sharing some notes?
Sure. 2 heads and all that jazz, right. Maeve lifts her laptop and passes it over to you.
Here, type in your email and I'll share it.
The motion lifts her shirt up a little, and you can't help but notice the couple of inches of soft, pale tummy pooching over her waistband. The girl definitely has the physique of someone on her computer more often than not. You type in your email and smile as you hand the laptop back to her. Thanks. Honestly, some of this stuff is way out of my usual wheelhouse, so hopefully between the two of us we can get it all down.
I might like it if the prof wasn't so dry. Blair.
She starts typing, pushing up her glasses as she does so.
But hey, maybe I can write off some of my gaming time as productive if we occasionally quiz each other over chat.
Studying and questing at the same time. That's just being efficient if you ask me. Maeve actually giggles, and some people look around. The professor stops talking and looks pointedly in your direction. Maeve blushes bright red and sinks farther into her seat so that her forehead is only somewhat visible above the lid of her computer. You silently mouth sorry to her and return your attention back to the lecture and your notes, wanting to avoid any other unnecessary attention during the class. After the lecture concludes, you leave the lecture hall with Maeve before she heads off to her next class, but she's glad to have made a new friend on either side of a computer screen. I should go do something. No sense wasting the day away. Well, Philip. That's probably about an hour. I don't want to make these videos too long, so I guess I'll have to end it here. Definitely support Elixir on their Patreon. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode, and maybe even tomorrow's video. Bye.